Welcome to Daily Sourdough. Today is a good day because I'm going to teach you how to make big, soft, pillowy cinnamon rolls out of your sourdough starter. Sourdough cinnamon rolls are the best. These will be the best cinnamon rolls you've ever had. There are a couple of tricks to making really good sourdough cinnamon rolls. The first trick is to make sure that your starter is really lively and foamy and is low on the acidic level. So that means it has a sweeter smell, not a sour, acidic smell. And the way to accomplish that is by feeding it a couple of times before you use it. Take your starter out of the refrigerator or off your counter and remove all but a 1/4 cup of your starter. So just make pancakes or something with the rest of it. Leave a 1/4 cup in your crock and feed that. Then let that ferment for about 8 hours. Then remove half of that and feed it again and let it ferment for another 8 hours. By that time, it should be really foamy and lively, but if it's not, repeat that process one more time. It's really worth making sure your starter is very lively and foamy and low on the acidic level in order to make really fluffy cinnamon rolls and to eliminate the sour taste. The second trick to making really good cinnamon rolls with your starter is to proof your dough in the refrigerator, which also keeps the acidic level low. When making your dough, start by scalding 2 cups of milk. The reason you scald the milk is because it denatures the whey proteins. This makes it better food for yeast, which then makes fluffier cinnamon rolls. After you scald the milk, cool it down so that it doesn't damage the yeast and the beneficial bacteria in your starter. Add to the 2 cups of scalded milk 1/2 cup of water, and then when this is cooled to about 105 degrees roughly, then you can add your starter. To the scalded milk and water, add 2 cups of your foamy sourdough starter. Then stir it up until the starter is completely dissolved. Next, add 4 cups of your all-purpose flour to your milk and starter. Then stir that up until the flour is well incorporated. Let this sit on your counter in auto leaks for 30 minutes. In a separate bowl, add 2/3 cup sugar, 1/2 cup of oil, and I'm using avocado oil because the flavor is so mild, 2 eggs, and 2 teaspoons of salt. Now mix that up very thoroughly so that the egg yolks are broken and the sugar is beginning to dissolve. Then add this liquid mixture to your dough. Then carefully mix this all together until it's well incorporated. And this takes a little time to get this all mixed in. At this point, you can definitely use a stand mixer to mix all of this in. Once that's thoroughly mixed, add another cup, and this will be your 6th cup of flour. And at this point, I like to start mixing it by hand because the warmth of my hand makes for happy little yeast and bacteria. And just squeeze the dough and get that flour mixed in really thoroughly. And the dough is soft and very nice dough. If you're using a stand mixer, do the same thing. Just mix probably 1/2 cup at a time into your stand mixer, and then mix that up and then add another 1/2 cup. Okay, now I'm going to add a 7th cup of flour. I'm going to mix that in very thoroughly with my hand as well. Now we're ready for the last cup of flour. This is number 8. And just lightly sprinkle it over the top. Just add 1/2 cup at a time. You don't want to add too much flour, then your dough will be too stiff and it won't rise as well. Now my dough is really coming together, starting to form a ball. instead of a shaggy mess. I'm going to use that last half cup of flour to dust my countertop. Now knead your dough until it becomes smooth and elastic. And that's going to take several minutes of really strong kneading. When making cinnamon rolls, you want to knead the dough a lot because you want a real firm elasticity, and you also want a closed crumb. Next, oil your bowl and then put your dough in the bowl. Flip it upside down so the oily top is facing up, and let this rest covered for 30 minutes. After letting your dough rest for 30 minutes, it's time to do a stretch and fold. So lift the dough under, stretch it up, fold it in half. Rotate your bowl, reach under the dough, lift up and fold in half. And just do one round of stretch and folds on all 4 sides. Then flip your dough over, cover it. Now allow this to rest 60 minutes and then repeat that process. You're going to do a total of 3 stretch and folds with 60 minutes between them. Then put it in the refrigerator overnight or for at least 10 to 12 hours to ferment. It's day 2. My dough sat in the refrigerator overnight. Then this morning I put it on the counter to let it proof. It's been proofing for about 3 hours and it's ready to bake. And I'll show you how to test your dough to know if it's finished proofing. A good way to test your dough is to take your finger and poke the dough. And then if it leaves a slight indentation, it means it's ready to bake. If it springs back quickly, it needs more time to proof. When rolling out your cinnamon rolls, flour your counter, then roll your dough out onto the counter. And cut your dough in half. This will make 2 large pans of cinnamon rolls. Now comes the fun part. My dough is very soft and airy, which means it will make large, pillowy cinnamon rolls. Next, take some very soft butter and spread it over the entire surface of your dough. And see how this dough has little air pockets and lots of bubbles in it? That's what you want. That means there's lots of good yeast and beneficial bacteria creating chemical reactions in your dough, which is going to make it rise really tall and make your cinnamon rolls soft. So spread about a 1/4 cup of butter over the surface of your dough. This will help your cinnamon sugar stick to your dough, and it will also give it kind of a caramel interior. Now spread a thick layer of brown sugar across your dough. I like to put a thick layer of brown sugar on my cinnamon rolls because I want them to have a real caramely, gooey center. If I'm going to be eating a cinnamon roll, I want it to be good. Next, sprinkle the surface with plenty of cinnamon, and don't skimp on this because you want to be able to taste the cinnamon. And now roll it up jelly roll style. And make sure your rolls are really tight to hold in the filling. Butter a 9x13 baking dish. Then cut your cinnamon rolls in about 2-inch segments. And then place them in your buttered dish. Lightly cover your cinnamon rolls with plastic wrap to allow for expansion, and then put them in a warm room. They should rise until they fill the pan, which may take an hour depending on how warm your house is. My cinnamon rolls have been rising in a warm room for 2 hours, And look how beautiful they are. They have risen and filled the pan and they are ready to bake. While they were rising, I set the temperature on my oven to 375 degrees so that it was really hot before I put them in. Now bake them for 25 to 30 minutes. Watch them after 25 minutes to make sure they don't get too brown, but it might take 30. Wow! They look beautiful. I like to frost my cinnamon rolls right after they come out of the oven because the frosting melts and oozes into all the little circles and sides and parts of the cinnamon roll, makes them so gooey. So I'm going to frost them with just a basic powdered sugar frosting. Oh, yum! I can hardly wait to taste this, and I can hardly wait for you to taste this. They're so soft and tender. Oh boy. Absolutely delicious. You have to try this recipe today. So give me a thumbs up when you try them. These are the best ever sourdough cinnamon rolls. And if you would like to see what's coming up next, be sure and subscribe to Daily Sourdough.